Hey everyone, it's Mrs. Brimlow, and today we're going to see how we can use the Pythagorean Theorem to find distance on a coordinate plane. So there is a link to a copy of these notes, or you can watch the video and get a copy of the notes when you return. So we're going to go ahead and start with example 1. So Thomas says that walking along a straight path from the haunted mansion to the clown tent is the shorter path. How can you use the Pythagorean theorem to determine whether he is correct? So if we're looking at this map, notice it's on a grid. So that means it's all made up of boxes. So they have a star here at the haunted mansion and then a star here at the clown tent. So if I turn my paper, he is saying or claiming that this distance is shorter than following the yellow path. So if we look at the yellow path to get from here to here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units away. Okay. However, I can't count this diagonal because it's going through corners of boxes. We can't count the diagonal on the map. So what we can do, though, is use the Pythagorean theorem. Might be tricky to see from this angle, but I'm going to go ahead and turn it here, and I'm going to just focus on that first distance we counted, the yellow path, and that line. If you take a look, you're going to notice it forms a right triangle. We know that this is 3 units, and we know this is 2 units, so we can use the Pythagorean theorem to figure out what that distance is and see if Thomas is right. So breaking that down step by step, they took this triangle from the map and they put it on a coordinate grid for us. So remember, you can count vertically and horizontally, not diagonally. Okay. So we have this side is 2 units and this side is 3 units. This side is unknown. So using my highlighter just to see what my hypotenuse is, since the right angle is here, that's my hypotenuse. So we don't know what that distance is. So we're going to go ahead and substitute it in. So 2 squared plus 3 squared equals c squared. So 4 plus 9 equals c squared. 13 equals c squared. I'm going to go ahead and take the square root. Just give me 1 minute to grab my calculator. All right. So square root of 13 is about 3.6. Now we could use the map scale given to us, but the other thing we can do is, once again, count the units to get from one distance to the other. So going back up to the picture, to get from this star to this star along the yellow path, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. Versus the diagonal is about 3.6. So it would be quicker to just cut through this diagonal path than to go all the way around. Okay. So when we have a coordinate plane and we're given a line segment that's a diagonal, we can form a right triangle and figure out what the distance is of that line segment. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and flip to the next page and we're going to do that. So for the try it, I'm going to connect the 2 points. So once again, it's a diagonal. I can't count that. Now, with these problems, you can make the right triangle one of 2 ways. When I look at it, this is what I see. That's the right triangle that I see. But you could also look at it and see it as, and guess what? It's the exact same thing. It doesn't matter how you see it, it still works. So I'm just going to put a little there, and I'm looking for my hypotenuse. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So from here to here, it's 2 units, and then down is also 2 units. So 2 squared plus 2 squared equals c squared. So 4 plus 4 equals c squared. 8 equals c squared. I'm going to go ahead and take the square root. So C is about 2.8 units. Always round to the nearest tenth. Okay. So the distance between them is about 2.8. And that makes sense because your hypotenuse, or that line segment, should be the longest side. The other two sides were 2, and this is 2.8. Okay. Last example we're going to look at is find the perimeter of a figure on the coordinate plane. Okay. So we have this triangle already drawn in for us. I notice here is my right angle, and the diagonal, which we don't know, is our hypotenuse. So I'm going to go ahead and count the side lengths. So the side length of AC, so A to C, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. And then the side length of B to C is 3. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and figure out what that missing one is. So A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So 3 squared plus 5 squared equals C squared. 9 plus 25 equals C squared. 34 equals C squared. Take the square root. Around to the nearest tenth. So C is about 5.8 units. Okay. So this is 5.3. So the question asked us to find the perimeter. So we need to figure out what perimeter is. Well, perimeter is the distance around a shape. So I know this side length, I know this side length, and now I know this side length. So all I need to do is add these all together. So this is 0.3, 5, 10, 13 units. So that is the perimeter of the entire figure, okay? So first we had to find the diagonal, and then we added up all the sides to see that it is 13.3. Okay? If you have any questions, let me know, and I will chat with you soon.